Watching modern women upload content of themselves crying to their selfie camera after initiating a divorce and regretting their decision, while pathetic, will always be entertaining. Let's watch.
I'm gonna cry. I have just realized that I have become a single 30-year-old
Ma'am, button your shirt. Your mother.
mom who's driving in a Dodge Caravan, checking out other men while driving in a subdivision, a suburban subdivision. I am a single 30-year-old woman with 3 children driving a minivan, checking out other dads.
It's pretty pathetic.
Yep.
Okay, this is where my life is.
What you guys are hearing right there is an auditory version of hitting the wall. You see, what happens is that through the initiation of the split of this relationship legally via divorce, oftentimes within their echo chamber, they are strong for being able to make this decision, as comforted by the daytime talk shows, the different Cosmo-like magazines, and this aura around your strength through independence. But it gets exceptionally real when you're sitting in a Dodge Caravan, roaming around the street, looking at and wanting to talk to men that want nothing to deal with you back. You've lost significant value in having a relationship. Women must understand they lose significant value by giving away their womb, and 3x of that after a divorce significantly diminishes your value in the dating marketplace. But that's the reality that they don't hear, but it's what they realize when they're out there in the marketplace. Hello!
And your shirt open with, you know, your sports bra hanging out, it's not going to attract those men. They don't want you around their kids with your tits hanging out.
Shout out to the wall.
A few moments later.
Get on with it. Let's go.
I finally let go.
I finally let go. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea what it feels like.
Oh, it feels so amazing. Oh.
To just finally let go.
Oh, not the violin.
I forgive him.
Not the violin. No, not the
I'm so
violin.
thankful for him.
And the piano music. God damn it.
Even the bad. Because, man,
Oh,
if I didn't experience
and
it,
the facial expressions.
I
Look
wouldn't
at,
even know who I would be.
look at the lips shake.
Because of him, I love myself more. Because of him, I learned about myself. Because of him, I was able to heal and understand my shadow work
The shadow work. The shadow
and
work.
to fix
I just make up terms.
things that I contributed to the marriage.
Oh, shit.
And
Cosmo told me to.
Oh,
the
God.
patience.
The patience. The words. The random words. Just throw
It's
them
such a
out.
beautiful thing when you can take accountability for what you've done
Accountability.
and grow and learn from it
Oh.
and come to the other side
Uh-huh.
and just I'm so grateful and I appreciate all of these experiences, but on a much deeper level. I just want his happiness, and he's found that. And we may not be where I was hoping we would be, but I can only control myself.
True.
She said accountability. My ears perked up. Let's
Facts.
continue to listen.
Like, and like, wait, hold up. Like, what is shadow work? Like, what does that mean? Like, you do work on your shadow? Like, your shadow is putting in the some hours? Like, are you putting in hours into your shadow? Like, or is shadow work like a metaphysical term saying that you are working on like your inner demons, maybe? Yeah, I'm confused. I wish she could explain that, but she just said it like everybody knows what that means.
But I can just like look back on us, and it's sad to see how it got there, how it got to here. But being where I am right now, it's all worth it. And everybody says choose your heart. In these past 4 years, oh my gosh, they have been hard.
And you chose it. You chose that hard.
What I've experienced in the past 4 years is more than what people experience in a lifetime.
Listen,
What?
There's a couple of things, and I think like perhaps this is just her way to deal with the reality that she's currently in. But I often hear women who think like this treat their prior relationship as like it was a life experience that I learned and grew from. And really that's an unintended consequence of a failed relationship. See, the goal is not to have to go anything as permanent as what a marriage is, to learn from it. Because what's the value of going through and learning something that's going to devalue you later in life for the exact same thing that you want in the future? I mean, you just said it yourself. You're rolling around the damn town as a low option looking at other dudes. This is the reality that you are now in. After choosing the grass on the other side of what you thought was greener, but it wasn't greener. Fuck your learning. Men don't care what you guys learn in relationships to learn about yourself. This is real life. It involves not only my life, but your life and the children's life. But then to get up on the camera and cry about accountability and things that you learned, it's nasty work. Let's continue to listen.
I chose hard. But by choosing hard, I found myself.
Oh God.
I truly found myself.
And you ruin your kids' life in the process. Their father is out of the house, the mother is crying on TikTok. There ain't nothing good about this other than for you. And what, you gonna go into the next relationship taking these lessons in there? I highly doubt it. That's not exactly what women do.
By sheer coincidence.
Now, this woman was married for 23 years to a millionaire, and after listening to her friends, divorced her husband. Let's listen to her explain her new life.
Trying to survive this year. I'm gonna be honest, the random things that trigger me are the craziest things. I'm sitting in my car, literally sitting in my car, trying to pull myself together because I did what any mom does, and I pulled an emergency drive to my daughter because she needed something, and drove an hour because she's at college to drop something off. And was just so thankful that like I could do it for her and fit her in my schedule. And the littlest thing she said just triggered me. And this is the second time in a week that my child has triggered me without even meaning to. So we're getting ready to leave, and she's like, well, I'll be home because I'm going to be at the Clemson Notre Dame game because Dad's going to take us all. You think that's nothing, right? Like nothing, right? And it instantly, like she instantly saw a switch in me, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Because, you know, I don't talk about that stuff. I don't want her to worry. She's like, Mom, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. And I had to keep it together.
So we came to TikTok to complain, huh? We came to TikTok to complain about your woes and your, well, right.
Because last week, she said randomly, I was like, what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? This is my year to have Thanksgiving with you guys. What do you guys want to do? You want to volunteer? Do you want me to just cook at home? Do you want to go out to eat? Like, I'm literally like begging for them to give me any feedback, because last year my ex used every single holiday, even if it was my holiday, to be with my kids, to isolate me, manipulate them, to torment me, and everything he could with the South Carolina 1 year of separation law. And my lawyer did nothing to help me, and the laws did nothing to help me, and my children were used as weapons. So last week she says,
It's crazy to me to think that you're saying that him wanting to spend as much time with his children is using them as weapons. Even being a good father, a stable father, a father that wants to see his kids and still continue to provide as much as what he can for them, still gets twisted around as him using the kids as weapons. You are distorted.
oh,
And you want to say that the law didn't help you? Well, welcome to a man's life.
Well, Dad said for Christmas we're gonna go to Gatlinburg and be there for the holidays and do Dollywood. That man never once ever went to Gatlinburg or Dollywood ever in his entire life before he met me. That was where my family always went. I'm from Tennessee. That's something we always did. It was a bonding thing. And now that's what he's trying to do. It's like he's taken every single tradition I've ever done and now turned it into his. Everything I've ever done. And the worst part,
So
and the thing that
pathetic.
triggers me is that I'm screwed. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. There's no way to lie about it. Like, I literally was screwed. Now I find myself triggered because during the hardest time of my year last year, of me literally trying to stay alive, me dealing with all the craziness of my ex, the lying, the alienation, him calling me a whore, him having my children call me a whore. Why? Not because I did anything bad, because I wore spaghetti straps and all that. And the only way that he could use.
You wore spaghetti straps and all that? Ma'am, can I get a little bit more content? Like, I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying my hardest to understand what you're actually complaining about. But you wore some spaghetti. Where? Did you post spaghetti scraps on the internet? Did you wear it to a beach? Did you wear it to the mall? Did you wear it to church? Like, where did you wear these spaghetti straps at? Like, obviously you wore them somewhere where it was inappropriate or there would be no reason to complain.
Use my children against me was to say I was on social media.
So notice how she says little things in there like he called me a whore, which, you know, if you're acting like a whore, sometimes women don't like to hear the truth, but then she slips in right after that, the children calling me a whore. Do you really think that her children were calling her that word? Or is she just trying to slip something in order to try to character assassinate the man? But besides that point, what I think that is the most interesting in doing content on this side of the internet is how often women have a bad reaction to when you are just direct with them and you tell them the truth. The man is probably in his 50s. You are in his 40s. He has afforded a lifestyle where you were a stay-at-home parent for 23 years as he built businesses to make him a multi-millionaire to the extent of paying for facial reconstructive surgery so you can pretend as if you're still in your damn 20s. And how do you repay him? By continuing to demonstrate your way in a way that he doesn't find befitting of a 40-plus-year-old woman as you seek out your need for validation from other people and as you seek out attention. Put in simpler terms, when a man cannot afford the lifestyle that you want, you call him broke, which for your definition may or may not be true, but it's direct. The same way that you can be a whore for demonstrating yourself in an unworthy manner on the social media.
And in some ways I'm not even helping myself because my brain is so stressed. I'm just trying to don't keep dwelling on it. I keep telling myself, don't dwell on it. Just survive right now. Just get through it. Just get through the holidays. But there's a timeline. And if I don't do stuff by February 8th, I can never fix the situation. But if I don't survive now, I'm literally going to be a complete mess mentally. So I'm trying, this is crazy.
Is anybody else following this? Like, what do you mean survive now? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna be messed up mentally. Like, details, woman. If you're gonna put this shit out here, then can you explain yourself thoroughly? I don't get what this is all about. I don't get why you're making this video. Well, you just want us to just feel sorry for you that your husband can take your kids to Dollywood and the Notre Dame game and you can't go? Like, is this seriously what you're sitting here complaining about? Like, what is going on? Like,
medium, and I'm trying to be happy and show my kids that life can move on, but the random fucking triggers that have me sitting in a Quick Trip parking lot trying not to cry. Why? Because my ex has so much money. He makes more than $18,000 a month easily, or at least he did. He made almost $1 million the year before we divorced and then lied about it. He has all the money at his fingertips to do whatever he wants, to buy my children, take them on trips, take them on vacations. I literally have the bare minimum to pay my bills.
There we go.
On top of trying to restart a career.
There we go.
Because it was a hobby, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And just like he said, I wasn't part of the equation. I was not part of the equation in the entire marriage, this man told me. My role in life was to be the mother of his children and to do anything that was needed for the family while he built his career.
Is that not the job of a woman? Is that not the job of a woman to take care of the children and take care of her man? Like, what am I missing here? Like, what are you complaining about? It seems like you had a pretty good life, mommy. You didn't have no free time to yourself. You didn't have nothing. You couldn't carve out a little bit of free time for yourself in your schedule. What are you complaining about? What is going on?
Not part of the equation. So how was that marriage ever supposed to survive? When I was fully 100% in trying to make a marriage, a life, a family, and this man never included me in the equation.
By the way, she's posting this to the same social media from whence he chastised her for it. Lies, manipulation, innuendo, reputation destruction, and false allegations, the tools of the toxic modern woman today. If that was really the plan for you, why would he put a ring on your finger and be married to you for 23 years? Why couldn't he just have a baby with you? It doesn't make sense. At some point, he was invested into you. Could it be that there's things that you demonstrated to him after you got that ring that showed him that you are not worthy of that ring? See, thoughts like that would require a degree of accountability, some of which you don't really seem to have a lot of.
And then when it was done and I got loose and I tried to survive, that man had been plotting for over a year on how to make my life hell because he had all the money, all the control. And now I sit here with the triggers. A fucking trigger because he's going to the Clemson Notre Dame game with my kids.
Oh my God, you're about to start crying. That's what makes you cry, because they're going to the Clemson Notre Dame game without you. Oh my God, this is when the tears start to bubble up. Really? Here right now, when you're starting to talk about them going to the Notre Dame game. Oh, this is so pathetic.
I can't just randomly afford that. Hell, I can't even get them all in the same room at the same time.
Both of your children.
So I sit here, and I'm gonna get through this trigger. I'm gonna suck it up, Buttercup, and I'll move on. But it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. I'm pissed. It's just not fair, and I don't understand.
A lot of boring math later.
Anyone else mourning the life they gave up to be happy and free?
It's the same woman.
I stayed in a marriage for 23 years and built up a family and my ex's career and everything, and we literally just...
Another woman taking credit for helping her woman build up his career. I mean, you didn't do nothing but just hold things down at home. And from the last video, you didn't even like doing that.
got to where it was supposed to be everything we dreamed of. Like, owned a company, making, almost $1 million. And that was my breaking point. And I left it all. And I'm not a person that is about money. I'm kind of in mourning of the
I'm not about
oh my
money.
gosh, I gave it all up. Everything was around my family. So when I chose to leave, I gave it all up. All up. I had no clue that the worst was yet to come in the 1 year of separation. And so it's weird because I find that...
Oh my God, it's not about to be bad for me after a divorce.
I just thought today for a split second, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I thought, I should have just stayed.
Yeah.
I should have stayed.
Wow, realizing that you don't have any money and realizing that he had all the money and paid all the bills and put you up in a nice house and all this kind of stuff. And then you realize what you get out of the marriage, you don't have any of that anymore because he was providing all that. And now you're regretting your decision to divorce me. Wow, this woman is something. I'm not about money though. I'm not a person that's all about money though.
It wasn't that bad. You made it 23 years. You made 26 years total. Your kids are college and one's almost out of high school. You made it. It didn't matter at this point. They can do their own separate life and all that. You made it to the point where you guys were making so much money and you had big houses and you could do whatever you want and you can relax. And I literally just called my friend and I was freaking out because I'm my biggest I'm the biggest person that keeps me back. Like, I'm terrified. I don't have 401k. My counsel did not have my back. I was so traumatized when I got out, and then terrorized for the next year that I couldn't even think straight to help the people that wanted to help me, and the people I entrusted to help me didn't help me. And there's just timelines that you can't stop. And so it is what it is. And, you know, I'm 47 years old. It's not like I'm 25. I'm healthy, kinda. I have an autoimmune disease, which means it's life-threatening for the rest of my life. You know, things can change. But it's not like I'm an invalid and can't do anything for myself. But it is terrifying. Like, I could have stayed.
You're beginning to see a trend of these women that are divorcing millionaires. Oftentimes they have cosmetic surgery. They have no problem in utilizing the husband's funds or the husband's assets in order to fund such surgeries. But really, this is a disease of entitlement. It's a disease of privilege, because logic would tell you to stay, to continue to invest in, and to reap the rewards of building a successful family. But instead, you chose to listen to your single ass friends that probably don't want what's best for you to begin with. Them, with feminism, sold you the lie of being happy and free. They sold you the lie that your makeup, your wigs, your cosmetic surgeries will extend your life within the dating marketplace. That, again, the grass is greener on the other side, when it's a fairy tale. See, your market value has been decreasing exponentially post 35 years old, and you have children on top of that. The reality is that while your value is exponentially decreasing, his value is exponentially increasing. And it's gonna plateau at a certain age. Guys can't really even take advantage of their market value unless they're jacked up with testosterone, but you let that life go for lies. How ridiculous and pathetic of you.
I wouldn't disagree that this woman couldn't, I wouldn't disagree with that this woman couldn't find another man that would, take care of her, marry her at some point in her, near future. But it ain't gonna be no millionaire. It ain't gonna be no man that has his own company and has built it up to the point to where he's making millions of dollars now. I mean, you may find some hard-working guy that, probably makes a little bit under $100,000 a year, because you still are, kind of cute, but I don't see you getting back to how your life once was.
I'm so mad that I think this way. I could have stayed. My life would have been so much easier. I could have just gone and done whatever I wanted, kind of. I mean, I say that, and then I think as I say that, I'm like, but you couldn't. It's like so weird that my brain thinks that way. And
it's because of your echo chamber.
I called my girlfriend and I told her, I probably should have just stayed.
You don't say.
I should have just stayed. It wasn't that bad. And she just started, she's like, Jenna, what are you talking about? Like, literally. And then I just keep thinking, I'm like, but I had a huge house and all my bills were paid for, and I never had to think how they were going to get paid. My grass was cut, well, not the last year of separation. But you know what I mean? All the basic things that keep the image up. And I gave up my entire image that I was trained to have for my family for 23 years. Like, I was the stay-at-home mom, and I made the image of we were the perfect family. I have beautiful children. They were dressed right.
It seems like the first, 10, 15 years were just perfect. She was in line doing exactly what she needed to be doing. She said she was trained she was raised to be this stay-at-home wife, to be this good wife to her husband. And then soon as social media came around, as soon as TikTok came around, she started getting on the internet and people started filling her head up with, hey, you deserve better. Hey, you don't deserve this. Hey, that little thing that he's doing, that's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And then she fed into it. She fed into the bullshit and then divorced him, and now look at her. Wow, this is pathetic.
They, did top sports like cheer and football and went to all that stuff. And I was, the cheer mom and, did all that stuff and then did photography on the side just to make money, to make ends meet while he built his career up. And I stayed long enough to just give it all up when it was right there. And I'm so mad at myself because I'm not this way. I don't think this way. But it is hard to be a single female when you're 47, when your kids are out. It's not like I have little kids. I always say if I had little kids, this would be not even a question, because that instinct comes in. I have to, my kids, you know, I got little kids. I got to get them up for school. I got to get them to here. I got to get them to there. I got to go to work. I got to do that. I don't have that. I'm literally at home. The worst time of my day is after the gym at night when the house is quiet.
You already went through that though, man. You've had, what, 3 kids? You already went through taking them to school, getting them up, feeding them breakfast and all that kind of stuff. You went through that. You should be grateful that you went through that.
And silent, and I just am in my thoughts. And it's so hard. Like, I'm my own boss. If I don't go to work, if I get sick, nothing happens. And my Jenna Murphy photography would just crumble. And I love what I do. I have a passion for it. I love it. But I'm in my head. Like, I'm literally in my head. And I'm booking shoots and I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited. But every time I think future and long run, I freak out. Because my future was right there. Like, it was solidified. Like, I was comfortable for the rest of my life. Maybe not mentally in my relationship, but financially, I was fine. And I gave it all up to be happy.
Imagine having a soft, plushy, and cushy life and giving it all away, or not trying to go above and beyond yourself in order to put as much effort as he's putting into making all that money into making your relationship work. This is why that story that I did not too long ago on Ben Hart, the breakdancing dad, was so pivotal for young men to hear, so that they can hear the difference between a woman who really grew up in poverty, that grew up in war, that struggled so hard to make it over into America, found a man that was at his lowest point and then built up with him, versus these entitled modern women that have way less value and cost way more money over the lifetime of that marriage. And at the end of it, to watch their mind discover the bullshit that they wrapped their entitled privileged lifestyles around. It's really sad to see. But now you see how difficult that life is, now that you actually have to be an adult and do it yourself.
Maybe I should have stayed. It was like stable in every other area but that. Like, is my mental health really that important?
Modern Woman played an F sharp.
They're like, yes, like, yes. Like, you're just in that crazy in-between stage. And I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to work through the process. But it's terrifying. It is terrifying to start over at 47. But it's hard to know you gave away. My ex will probably never make less than $1 million every year. And I'm starting over. And basically as if I'm a 20-year-old again. And it just doesn't seem fair.
Content like this serves men in understanding how this entitled...
Hold up, NCR. Look, I mean, it seems like you guys didn't have God in your life. It seems like you guys weren't living by, you know, the Bible, and the Bible tells you, you know, divorce is just not an option. You should not have given up your life. You would not be here right now complaining about your kids going to Notre Dame games and you can't go, and all this, your life is solidified and all this kind of stuff. You wouldn't be regretting that if you just had in the back of your mind that no matter what, I'm gonna make my relationship work. No matter what, we're gonna put God first and not anything else. Not my happiness, not his happiness, but everybody's happiness, but God comes first.
Entitled behavior can lead to a failed relationship, while it also serves for young women to get themselves up out of the marketing, the matrix, to understand the safety net or the bubble that they are currently in, that doesn't allow them to be appreciative of their man or the things that their man is able to do for them. You're seeing it right here in 4K, women who have hit the wall regretting their decision. Which one do you want to be?